Well, okay, apparently the timer decided to stop. What's going on, everyone? Kelly Cavalier here, one half of 7 Arrow Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode number 90. That's right, 10 more to go after this before we hit 100, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, follow, share, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. That way you never miss out anytime we go live. Also, don't forget, guys, every Tuesday, like today, I'm on Line Dancer Radio. That's right, the Honky Tonk Highway has its own show that you don't definitely not want to miss. It's pretty much what I do here, but I get to play music because I don't get busted. Pretty much all it is. It's a fun time. We have a blast, 9 to 11 U.S. time, 2 to 4 p.m. UK time every Tuesday. Also, if you don't have time, listen to us on a podcast. That's right, we yank the audio right out of this show. I upload it to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That way, if you can't catch us live on air, you can listen to us. Now, we're back with interviews for the first time in a while. I know we've been doing more topic shows lately, but I brought an interview back, and you know what? This one's going to be a treat. Some of you know him, some of you do not. He look young, but trust me, he's old. You'll just get that right out of the way now. He's one half of the people who choreographed the dance Yes You Won't, very classic dance. And you might know his dance, Mandolin Dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Apple himself, Bryan McWherter. What up, B?
Hello. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How you been, man?
Pretty good, keeping safe. Trying to stay alive out there. I know things have been really difficult this year, but just living it day by day.
Absolutely. I love JP's comment. I can't wait to find out who this guy was.
Well, at least people are still trying to figure out who I am.
I know I posted the picture, and even I found an old picture of you with your hair cut short, your glasses on.
Nobody's seen me in quarantine mode.
Right,
Very few people.
So, for those who don't know you out there, give everyone a little short bio of how you got into line dancing.
Oh, goodness. Well, I started really young. My mom actually started learning at home, like on videos and such. So I started real young at home with my mom. And then as I started getting older, my parents had found that there was a line dance class that was close to my home that was actually being held at a local ice cream shop. It was held outdoors on basically just a stage that they had built out there. And one night after doing my chores, my parents were like, "Hey, you want to go over to this line dance class and see what it's about?" So, of course, I think at the time I was probably 11 or 12. I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go see what this is about." And then what is it? 30 some odd years later, here I am. Just. It's funny because that same class that originated on this little stage outside of an ice cream parlor, my parents actually helped move it from that location to our local fire station, which both of my parents are members of in West Colesville, New York. So West Colesville Fire Station, that's where I danced for, almost a decade. Before we ended up having to end classes there. But that's how I kind of got started, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Crazy. For those who know the dances, Yes You Won't, Bryan choreographed that with Miss Johanna Barnes. And another one, big one, Mandolin Dreams. A couple oldies but goodies. I love it when Yes You Won't comes on because I get to two-step to it every time. It's great.
Yeah, that's such a great dance. I love it. Whether you're two-stepping or you're out there doing Yes You Won't, or I know the UK had a different dance that they did to that song, but that song is just so much fun, and I can't imagine us not dancing to it. Still to this day. It's so much fun.
JP said they're all oldies. Yeah, it was weird getting to see Billy Gilman, because Billy Gilman, I think, recorded that song when he was 10 or 11?
Yeah. He was super young.
And then see him on The Voice.
I know.
As all grown up, different, super
yeah.
adult voice now. You're right.
Super adult voice.
Yeah.
He's out. He's out. He's proud. He's made so many tremendous strides in his life that it's incredible to see what that kid has done.
Yes, and from a kid who was like got thrown into the business when he was 10 or 11 to what he's done now, it's just insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's insane to think about. Yes, you won't. That actually turns 20 this year, or I think. Trying to think. 2001, we won the Pro Choreography Dance Challenge. I believe it was. Johanna can yell at me later if I'm incorrect, but I believe it was the Line Dance Marathon. In 2001, we won the Pro Choreography Dance Challenge with Yes You Won't. So that means that Yes You Won't is officially 20 years old as of around August timeframe of 2020.
Yeah, so I remember that because y'all took it to Worlds that year, in 2000, the January of 2002. And
after we had won the Pro Choreography Challenge, I remember that dance just took off. It was incredible. I think that was the largest dance class I had at the marathon. And I want to say it was close to 300 people in that room. The only person that year to have a class larger than mine was Scott, which was incredible this, I would consider myself skinny at the time. But what was I? Barely 20.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was so much fun, and to be able to teach that with such a large class. And of course, many of you may not even know this, but marathon was my very first dance event that I ever attended that wasn't like a local class to where I'm from.
Right.
Yeah. And my very first marathon was in May of 1997.
That's a great year.
Just a few years before Yes You Won't was even thought of.
I was a junior in high school, finishing my junior year of high school in May of 97.
Yeah, that makes me feel great. Thanks.
I'm older than you. I don't want to hear it.
What year did you graduate?
98. I graduated in May of 98.
Yeah, you're not that much older than me, though.
No, I know I'm only a couple years.
Yeah.
I'll be 41 next week.
Wow. 41. Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Apparently, so. Jason Turner just said, "Lord, I was 5 years old in 1997." Jason, you're not getting brownie points here, brother.
Really? Nope, none at all. None at all, Jason Turner. None.
JP's giving us all the finger. I think that was actually he gave Jason the finger. Andy Williams, we know you're older than us both. Yes, Jen, happy birthday, because we share the same birthday. Me and Miss Cameron both have a birthday next Friday.
Jennifer, happy early birthday.
We're gonna
absolutely.
Rob, you were literally knee high to a grasshopper. Rob Glover. That's back when you were still little Rob. The sad thing is,
he was little Rob for a long time.
He was. The sad thing is, I still remember the first time I actually met you. First time me and you actually met, and it was in Fort Lauderdale. It was in Fort Lauderdale at an.
What did I do?
Well, we both did a lot. As soon as I bring up the event, you're gonna remember. You're already shaking your head. It was at Boogie Woogie Boot Camp.
Oh, I remember that event. Something Saturday about night. Flashing lights.
Yep. So the event director decided to hold a boots and boxers contest. Now, mind you, back when I started line dancing, I was 130 pounds soaking wet. I wore tight Wranglers. I wore cowboy boots. I didn't think of dancing in sneakers. I didn't think of having a baseball hat on. I usually had a cowboy hat on. My shirt. Bryan would say it. I was the. JP goes, "Is this story safe for on-air conversation?" Part of it is.
Probably not.
But I was the epitome of a country boy going from the bar scene to an event.
Yep.
And I figured.
I think most of us went through that phase, though.
We probably did.
That have been dancing for that long anyway.
Right. And so I went out and I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm like, I can probably easily get this. So I went out and I bought a pair of Tony the Tiger boxers. Jen says she remembers this very well because she was there.
And that's surprising because I'm sure we all had a lot to drink at that dance event.
Yep. So I wore a pair of Tony the Tiger boxers with my cowboy boots, and it had Tony the Tiger on the front, and on the back of the butt it says, "They're great." Now, I thought for sure, young guy, 20-something years old, I got this in the bag. It was great. And I did. Until this guy comes out in a T-shirt, boxers covered in marijuana leaves, and blinky lights. 2 blinky lights clipped to his nipples and 1 clipped to the front of his boxers. And I just throw my hands up. I go, yep, there that went.
And that day you learned not to ever underestimate a gay.
And needless to say, we have not recreated that moment yet.
We should have done it for the show.
Maybe
next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe not.
Nope. JP Potter just said nothing changed. Last time I checked, neither one of us have come waltzing into the ballroom. Well, Bryan's might have come waltzing in the ballroom in boxers before.
It's been a very long time. Very long time.
Maddie B asked, would you ever actually compete as a solo line dancer in the UCWDC?
I did, actually. It was the late 90s. I competed in the, what was it? I believe it was a teenage, obviously at the time, division. But I competed in just solo line dancing for quite a few years. When I say quite a few, it's more like a handful. I quickly decided in the late 90s, early 2000s that the competition part really wasn't for me, and it was more so the choreography that I enjoyed the most. And I did compete some of that too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JP Potter just said, I still have my kippy belts. If I put them all together, I could probably make one that fits.
Oh, I don't know. You could probably wrap it around you a couple of times with the amount of kippy belts you have, JP.
The sad thing is, the first time me and JP met at Orange Blossom Dance Festival, he actually wore my pants. Back when I was like a size like 30, like a 30-31 when I first met him. Because back then, the UCWDC had very strict rules on competing. Very strict rules. You had to have Wranglers. You had to have the shirts with the yolks on it. And
you had to have the Wrangler patch.
Right.
You couldn't have the Wranglers with the patch up on the belt loops. They actually had to have the patch on the butt.
Right. So it was weird because he decided to compete choreography at the last minute. So he kind of pieced stuff together. And Guyton had come up to me and goes, yo, you got an extra pair of pants this guy can borrow? And I did. So that's
a story about how JP got into your pants at one time.
Jen Cameron wants to know if you're still choreographing.
I haven't choreographed anything in probably about a year, a little over a year right now.
You released a new dance at Big Bang, bro.
Well, but I didn't. Well, I did choreograph it right at Big Bang. That's right.
You did.
It's been under a year. No, I was thinking about the dance that I choreographed at Nisal or on my way to Nisal last year when I was on the train. But you are correct. Thank you for correcting me in front of all 38 people. And whoever streams it later.
I remember because you changed at the last minute. All of a sudden, you're like, nope, I'm going to record this. Oh wait, no, me and Rosie decided to write something this morning. We're now recording this.
Right. Oh, well, no, that's not usually how it goes. If everybody really wants to know how this goes, I usually say, okay, Kelly and Kelly, I don't need either one of you in the room. I can handle my own equipment. I'll go in and I will record myself and I'll let you know whenever I'm done.
That's actually usually, It's kind of nice. It gives me a little bit of break to go eat lunch.
But that's great. Usually after they end up having to hound me for most of the weekend. So,
right, but it usually finally gives me a little bit of break to go eat lunch.
There you go. Gives you a little bit of a, little bit of a breather there.
Yeah. John Lindsay said there's an outside chance that he has a video of you competing.
Oh, well, John, if you can find that, I would definitely be interested in viewing it in a private setting.
Oh, no.
Really, I would love to see it. There's a video of the year that we taught Yes You Won't at Actually, we didn't teach it at Worlds. We competed with it at Worlds, but there is a video that is online of the main ballroom or line dance area at Worlds that year doing the dance, which is awesome too.
Yeah, it was
I don't know.
the packed floor. I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that was a
awesome.
huge year. I kind of miss. I kind of miss the UCWDC days back in the day when we all went, because they gave us the whole lobby. Now
Yeah,
everyone was like, "Oh, the lobby thing," but the lobby means we got free reign to do whatever pretty much what we wanted. It was awesome, and we
yeah.
had this huge area that everyone had to go through, and we just partied.
It was the best place
It
ever because
was.
exactly like you're saying, like if people wanted to go to their room from the other ballrooms, they had to walk through the line
Yep.
dance area to get there. So it was so awesome to even have the couples that would kind of like poke their heads into our area and be like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Or,
Yep.
a lot of the people in the couples community started in line dancing. So there
They
are some
did.
older dances that they remember. It's really cool. It was really cool. I miss it.
Yeah, like Glover,
The
Rob
good
Glover
old
just said, it
days.
truly was. The good old days were awesome.
They were. I mean, not that today's bad by any means.
Maddie B
Um,
says, "I feel like you are lying. I can't imagine UCWDC supporting that much line dancing." Back in the day, it was
oh, we're talking. Yeah,
probably it was probably an even mix, or
yeah,
more actually, line dance competitors. I remember watching some competitions back when, like, novice, they'd have to go through 4 rounds just to get to the finals, Maddie. Like,
yeah,
you'd have 80 something girls in the open novice division. It was actually it was amazing. And the line dance lobby was huge. You had instructors come in. You had a full lineup of workshops. It was like having a social event and a competition event in one. It was pretty much World Dance Masters in the US. If I had to
yeah.
compare it to thing, it was pretty much that.
And the awesome thing was we had so many line dancers that were there. We had enough people to
Yes.
keep that lobby running
Full all
all
day.
day long. Also, while all of the competition was going on and people were spread throughout the competition rooms and so on and so forth, like
Yep.
there were a lot of people at
Team,
Worlds
like
that year.
Rob Glover just said too, teams.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Daniel
teams were
Trapaccia said, "I really
huge.
miss it. Everybody was together in the UCWG. Shame that we had the splits." Um, John Lindsay just said all the swing dancers doing Hideaway Cha in the line dance lobby.
Oh
Yep, I
yeah,
remember those doing Have Fun Go Mad. Yep.
yep.
Joe Kinzer even says
Uh,
agree. Jen says, "Oh, so much fun back then." It was, and yeah, the teams. The teams were massive. The team division back in the day,
yep.
like, it would just be competed. Like
If anybody
Jen
wants
Cameron just
some,
said, she competed against 45 people in advanced at Worlds. That's
yeah,
insane.
that was as a line dancer. That's not as a team. That is a
Yeah.
single line dancer
Sure.
competing against 45 other people in the same division.
Yep.
I remember those
That was insane.
those competitions lasted a long time.
Oh, they
I
did.
remember.
I
I
remember the year
remember.
you did when y'all did Yes You Won't in choreography, when Guyton was his first year. He had the 5.
Oh, you
I
mean the
think the
year that
competition,
Guyton beat us?
yes, the year that Guyton beat you, but the choreography competition for the 5 divisions ran from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. The 15 hours of choreography competition. It was insane. There was like
Yeah,
100. There was divisions that had 100 plus dances in it.
that's it. Doesn't it seems so hard to fathom that today?
Oh
You know?
yeah, it is, because back then Worlds was one of the big line dance events to go to. Like
Yep.
it was up there with like the marathon and like stuff like that. You wanted to be at, like, back when you had the showdown, you had the marathon, you had Windy City, and you had Worlds. Pretty much, those were the 4 huge events for the longest time
Yeah.
in Vegas, and then you had Vegas right before that, but that was it.
Yeah.
JP says, "I remember competing choreography and thrilled that I placed in the top 10 because there were so many competitors." Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was some of the days
You're
we
lucky to
had.
place then. Yeah.
Oh, some of the parties we had back then, it was just amazing. And we would go all night.
Oh yeah, I remember
Bukisha
many
even,
sleepless nights.
Bukisha says, "I remember competing in the finals did start until after midnight on a
Isn't that crazy?
competition day." That's like you don't. The only place time you hear that
Yeah.
now is swing events for
Right.
Jack and Jill start at 12.
Well, because they started so late, but I mean, like
Right.
their competition was actually so late because they had so many other competitors and so many
Right.
things going on beforehand that that's really the only time they could have fit them in. And it's like, can you imagine? Now we just dance after midnight for fun.
Yeah. Now, right now we stay up till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning because we want to, not because we had to,
Hey,
because we were
hey,
still
hey!
competing.
Not everybody is Jody Harmon, okay?
Hey, what are you talking about? This year at Windy City, JP never shut down. Last year at Windy City.
Well, Jody's usually there at the closing photo of all the dance events, at least before
Maddie B
COVID,
just says,
anyway.
"I feel like I'm being punked right now." I just can't imagine.
You know, I have to be completely transparent. I'm so blessed to have been able to be part of the dance community when I was and go through the traveling experience that I did when
Yeah.
I did. You know, unfortunately, um, at some point in your life, you like I had to decide that, you know, uh, being an adult was going to be the right thing for me to do instead of continuing to travel and dance all the time. Not that that wasn't fun, but it was a little bit too much fun and it wasn't stable enough, for me to really make a living. So I'm truly blessed now to be about 1 month away from my 10-year anniversary working for Apple. So it's incredible. I would not give up any of it. I wouldn't give up the traveling when I did, fresh out of high school. I had so much fun. I met so many people, not even from the United States. I mean, from all over the
All
world.
over,
You
right?
know, um, not just from our dance events there, but actually getting to travel outside of the United States and teach dance as well. I really I feel like everyone that I've met throughout the years really had, um, even if it was just a little something, that everyone left an impression on me and helped me grow to become the jerk I am today. So I want to thank everybody for that. No, no, but seriously, um, I really am just a little piece of everybody, you know?
I'll have to send you the video clip. So, with me doing all the production for the Crystal Boot Awards, I've gotten the
Yeah.
privilege to get a bunch of the old footage. And one of the
Ooh.
videos I just got sent was your the first time you ever at the Crystal Boots, and they interviewed you, asking you what your experience was. I came across that, and I'm like, look at old little B
Yeah.
Mac.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, I
Yeah,
would love to see that as well. So please share it. I mean, goodness, I believe that was like 2005. It was so long ago.
it
It
was.
feels like so long ago. Yeah.
So,
But
were you at Worlds the
incredible.
year? Were you at Worlds the year we lost Roy Hadisabrodo playing capture the flag at Opryland at like 2 o'clock in the
No,
morning? We
I
decided
was
to play
not.
capture the flag with Hypno and all of us, and Roy jumped in a bush, and we lost him in the Opryland Hotel for like 2.5 hours.
That wouldn't surprise me. A, I've seen the bushes at Opryland Hotel, and B, I know how small Roy Subroto is.
Especially
Well,
back then. This
especially
is
at the
like
time.
this is like
He
when
was
he was
like a
like
kid.
19, 20, like right when he first in Superstars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were all scrawny kids at 19 and 20. Well, a
Right.
lot of us anyway.
Right.
So, oh yeah,
So
that was.
JP Potter has a question.
Oh no, we're in for it.
Who's your favorite choreographer that he looks up to and inspires to be, and why is that person me?
Well, first of all, um, uh, you're not going to go through any deja vu today, JP, because the choreographer that I would say my entire dance career, I've always wanted to aspire to be like, weirdly enough, um, is actually Joe Thompson, and I feel like a lot of people um, might be surprised by that, I guess. I think
I'm
a lot
not.
of people would think that I would say Scott. I love Scott as well, but Scott, John, Janie, they were all like huge influences in me when I first started choreographing and getting on the circuit. But the one that I really wanted to become like the most was like Joe, um, because in my entire career and my entire life knowing her, I've never heard anyone speak ill about her. And that's just an incredible thing.
Yeah.
and I love it.
Rob said that was legendary. He was talking about the time we lost Roy. Jason Turner wants to know, would you ever compete again?
It depends on what it is. I can't say that I wouldn't ever compete again, but competition isn't really my. If I were to compete again, it would probably be with choreography. It would have to be something very specific if it was going to be something outside of that.
Awesome. So I know I was gonna wait for 30. We're halfway through, and I haven't got to ask this question in a while because I haven't done an interview in a while. But knowing how drawn out your answer could be, I figured I need to go ahead and hit this one now. So, if money was no object, where would you hold a dance event, and who are the first 5 people you're inviting to come work for you? And you're old, so I know your list can go either direction.
Well, there's a lot of people that I enjoy on the dance circuit from all the years back. I think some of my favorites that I would just have to have. Oh, well, first, where am I going to have it? That's the biggest question, though, is where am I going to have it? I wish I could say I could have Big Bang again here in Charlotte, but somebody reminded me of this question earlier today and that I really needed to think of an answer to it. And even though I thought about an answer, my answer I feel like is really cheesy because my answer is highly unrealistic.
We've had people say they want to put it on the moon. What are you talking about?
So, because mine requires some sort of spiritual connection. Because honestly, I would like to hold a dance event in heaven, in a place where the people that we've lost, we could still enjoy the event with them. Especially being in the dance community for so long, I'm constantly reminded by people like Mas and Cas that used to travel all the time, and Carmen when she used to travel a lot. And we've lost so many people through the years. And I wish that I could just wrap everybody up in a blanket and say, it's okay and let's just dance, But I feel like that would be a really stupid thing to say, because then all the instructors that I would invite to go with me to heaven would be, let's see, where am I going to start with this list? No. Honestly, if money were no object, it doesn't matter where I had the event. What matters is who's going to be there. For me, instructor-wise, I have to have Joe. I have to have Scott. Growing up, they were 2 of my most influential friends and choreographers and instructors that I worked with a lot. I would love to have a little influence from across the pond. I'd love to bring in Madison Glover.
That's like way across the pond. That's in Australia.
Way across the other pond, the other left. No, across the pond. If I were to bring somebody over, that's really tough. There's so many good choices, and now Rachel lives here, so I've already picked 2 from the U.S. I don't know. We're going to have people, maybe duke it out for it. We might make people compete.
Like a Sweet 16 Battle Royal?
There you go.
Bracket style?
People get to guess, and if they guess correctly, they might get a free, trip to the event or something. Who knows?
JP says you need a geography lesson.
I do. Well, in all fairness, JP did get me drunk last night. Again.
So I have to ask, how's it feel having one of your best friends actually get to live in pretty much your same town now, so close to you?
What's funny is that he's probably going to bring this up if he hasn't already at some point. So the first year and a half that JP lived here, we actually didn't hang out, but maybe once maybe twice. I think it was at least a year and a half that he lived here before I went to the house that he lives in. So,
That's kind of
um,
funny.
well, because it almost didn't feel like it was real, because he had his dance thing. He was gone every weekend. He
Yep.
was, when he was home, he would be going out dancing a lot, which is great. But I have a full-time job at home. I don't get the luxury of doing that stuff all the time, and staying out until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because, I'm not 28 like I used to be. Um, I'm not by far 28. But I,
JP said I forgot he lived here purposely.
I, he did. Well, I mean, if you saw what he did with the U-Haul when he first got here, you would understand why I ignored him for the first year and a half.
I've heard the
Um,
story.
yeah. Ask JP for the photo of the U-Haul dug into the ground or the road at his driveway.
I've done that
Um,
before.
it's just funny. So, but now, I mean, even though this has been the craziest whirlwind of a year, um, JP is within my close like niche of friends that I trust. That I get tested regularly. When he went down to the Florida Dance Classic, like he got tested when he came back to make sure that he was okay. Like I trust him and his decision quality. And I have a very, very small group of friends that I do that with. So I feel incredibly blessed that I have him
Right.
in this area that I can, just go up to his house and, beat him up if I want to, or beat him at Mario Brothers, original Mario Brothers on NES.
Now you're just showing your age. Yes, JP. Yes, JP. In the same driveway. In the same driveway, I did the same thing you did. So don't feel bad. Johanna Barnes wants to know: have you asked Bryan yet who his favorite person to choreograph with has been?
Oh, let's see. Gosh, there's so many great people on this list. Um, oh, of course. Choreographing Yes You Won't with Johanna was, I remember it being nothing but giggling, of course, just being in stitches the entire time. It's a wonder we even got the dance choreographed and put down on paper before we forgot it because we're always just a goofy combo. But I really did enjoy that. I haven't choreographed with a lot of people though, so is that really a fair question, Johanna?
JP even just said this is a loaded question. Danger, danger.
Yeah.
So,
So what else do people want to know?
let's see. Let's see what the comments are coming down here. Danger, danger by JP.
Yeah,
Trying to
I'm
see if
still
I missed
reading
anything.
everything as it comes through.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to scroll up, make sure I didn't forget it. Oh, Jason said he was asking if you'd ever compete in solo line again. Now that I see that comment.
Um, again, solo line competition depends. Depends on the organization and what the rules are. I'm not one for country attire personally, so that was one of the reasons why I didn't really stick with competing with UCWDC back in the days
Come
because
on, you know
I
you like
didn't
your
enjoy the country attire.
you
You
like your
know,
fringe. You know it.
listen, well, I mean, the fringe was okay. The yoke on the shirt was okay. The jeans that were so tight, I had to run across the room and have somebody hold on to them so I could jump into them just to get in them. It was, whew, I remember there were a few times I couldn't breathe when I got out there. I wasn't hyperventilating because I was on the dance floor. I was hyperventilating because I couldn't breathe in my pants. And I was
Kel-
young and skinny then. Well, young.
Kelly asked, "What's the favorite place dance has taken you?"
Uh, like location?
Yeah, what's been your favorite
Oh,
place to visit?
absolutely hands down to visit Japan with Martha and getting to teach with John Robinson. And I actually traveled over there with John and Chris back in 2007. That was my favorite, like, trip away from home. Not that I didn't enjoy the rest of them, because the rest of them were great in their own respect, but Japan was an experience like no other. It was incredible.
Joe Kinzer wants to know when you're coming back to visit again over in the UK.
You got a spot for me still, Joe? You got an extra room and a cot for me? Or I could just sleep in the dance room. Just give me a sleeping bag on the floor. It's good.
So
I'm ready to come back anytime.
What event have you not got to go to that you wish you've been able to go to?
Actually, a lot of them, I would say the UK events. So like anything that's happened, like the World Dance Masters and all that, I've not been able to partake because obviously I've been spending the past 10 to 15 years really focusing on my career that
Right.
I haven't been able to go to a lot of events. But that is definitely, you know, where I would like to go once things kind of ease up a little bit.
Awesome. Karen says, Bryan, not Waxhaw? LOL.
What you want me to have a dance event in Waxhaw or what part?
What's in Waxhaw and where is Waxhaw?
Waxhaw is a town roughly about 30 minutes south of Charlotte. And that's actually where Karen teaches, or her and her husband have a dance class down there.
Okay.
And a lot of their dancers actually usually would come up, pre-COVID when I had my dance class at Argonne. They would come up and partake in our Tuesday night dance class as well. So I miss seeing everybody and getting to hang out and actually, getting to hug people. I think is one thing that I've really underestimated in my life is there coming a day that I wouldn't be able to just hug somebody when I see them. And that's been really hard.
I'm sure.
Really hard.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my family in over a year, which is abnormal for me as well. I usually take a trip to New York and see my family at least once or twice a year. And I haven't seen them since November of 2019, which is really difficult. Of course, we FaceTime, we talk online all the time. It's just not the same. It's great to see everybody and be able to keep in touch, but it's not the same being able to feel their energy in the same place.
Yeah. Dancing Terry wants to know if you remember All Kabobbled?
All Kabobbled. A little bit of it.
He remembers the name.
So I remember the beginning. The rest of it I'm kind of fuzzy on. But
Betsy asks, hi, Bryan. I came late to the party, so I don't know if you've already answered this, but what makes a dance great for you? Is it the footwork? Is it the meaning of the music?
That's a great question. I have not been asked that question yet. For me, it's that spark between the choreography and the music. If the music has a great lyric or a great rhythm to it, I'm automatically going to be drawn to it. But when you get a choreographer out there that makes a dance that you just feel so inspired by and incredible just doing the dance, that right there is what really does it for me. It's all about the feeling. It's not necessarily one thing or the other, or you have to have some sort of recipe. It's really they've got to be a happy little marriage between the two of them, in my opinion.
Awesome. So yesterday, my show was If You Could Only Choose One. I did it in honor of the wild card nomination, where you only get one nomination. But I did it in a line dance twist where I put up, like, if you can only choose one Simon Ward dance to ever do for the rest of the time. If you can only pick one nightclub to only dance for the rest of the time. So, being that your repertoire goes back a little bit further and you're old.
Oh, yeah, but you expect me to remember them at this point? Okay.
If you could only pick one classic dance to do for the rest of the time, what would it be?
Have Fun, Go Mad.
That was quick. You didn't even have to hesitate on that one. That was good.
No, because I remember when Have Fun, Go Mad came out. I remember learning it for the first time, and it was definitely, especially in my dance career or timeline, like it wasn't an easy dance for me to get at the time, and it took me a while to get it. And I remember going over to my friend's house on nights other than regular dance nights, and we would literally just practice these dances over and over and over again in their living room. And it was one that I just always loved, and I love it to the original. Yes, I like playing or doing it to alternate music as well, but there's just something about the original that it goes to.
Right.
It flows so well for me. It's so jazzy, and of course, that's not my style at all.
That's what we all had to do back in the day. Go over to a friend's house and practice. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the
Yeah,
internet. You had a you had a CD player, and you had to go
yeah,
get all your friends together and practice.
yep.
You had
And if
one
you
step
step
sheet
too
between all of
hard,
them, right?
yep, if one person steps too hard, the thing skips, and you're all off, so you have to start it all over again.
You only had one step sheet between the whole bunch of you, because only one of you could figure out how to get it printed out and keep it.
So let's see. I'm trying to think of all the people that I've given you so far for my dance event. I'm still thinking about this in my head as we're talking about other things.
You've given me Joe
Um,
Thompson. You've given me Scott Blevins. You've given me Madison Glover.
from across the pond, right? That Madison Glover.
That Madison Glover.
I love Maddie. Um, I think Fred would be in there.
There's four.
I still want to pick another girl. However, I don't know what I would do without Gary O'Reilly. He's one of my favorites as well. He's just so fun.
Well, you could have both. You can have him dress up as a Sumter Murphy half the time, and Gary O'Reilly as the other half. So there you go.
See. Well, I'm so glad you said it. I didn't want to say it, Kelly. I didn't want to be that guy. And thank you so much for taking the heat on that one. So yes,
I'm fine
it's
with
a
it because
bonus. It's a 2 for 1.
during my CBA nomination show the other day, we got asked, and Betty actually confirmed it, that Assumpta Murphy got votes for female personality of the year.
Oh, rightfully so. Rightfully so.
So that
But
it'd been funny if Gary was nominated for both categories. One as Assumpta as alter ego, and one as
right.
Gary
I mean,
O'Reilly.
that's double the recording for everything.
Vivian Young wants to know how you chose Charlotte to go live in when you moved.
Good question. I didn't. I didn't choose Charlotte. So I originally moved to North Carolina in the early 2000s. I originally lived in Raleigh, and I was there for about 7 or 8 years. And then in 2009, I was working for Massage Envy. I was a clinic administrator for them, so don't go getting all crazy here. I didn't actually give the massages. I just made everybody give me massages because that was my job as a manager. It wasn't my only job. So, but they had a location here in Charlotte, and they had an opening for a clinic administrator here. I was already doing that job at a clinic in the Raleigh area, and none of our other clinics were really this far west. So the company that I worked for, the franchisee that I worked for, approached me about moving to Charlotte and taking care of this location because they felt like out of the people that they had in the company that were able and willing to move, that they could trust me to move here and do the job. So that is how I moved to Charlotte in 2009 was when I first moved here. And honestly, I don't look back. I mean, this is my favorite city in the state, as far as like it having a big city feel, but not really being a big city.
Yep,
But
totally agree.
we are the biggest city in the state, though. Plus, I get the best of both worlds when it comes to like whether I want to go to the beach or go to the mountains. I can be in the Blue Ridge Mountains within an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I can be to Myrtle Beach in a couple of hours as well.
Yeah.
So I'm relatively like a central point there. Plus the weather here, you kind of can't beat it. I can't tell you the last time we had any real significant snowfall.
That's always good. It's always good.
Yeah.
Rob Glover coming in clutch with the deep questions. I always love it when he does this. He does this pretty often, no matter who I have on.
Okay.
He says, you have mentioned your career and the stability that has brought you in your adult life. Is there anything that your upbringing in the dance world that helped prepare you for that career path and or that you still carry with you to this day? Told you. Deep.
So I've learned basically everything that I've learned to like my personality and kind of my playfulness is everything that I've learned in the dance community from having great mentors like John and back in the day, even Max and Kathy. There's just so many, I don't know, so many people that I learned from. I feel like I'm derailing here, Kelly. Help steer me in the right direction if I do. I feel like that shaped me into be, a pretty fun kid at the time. But then I still remember those events and those things that happened and going to work and like my coworkers telling me that they love to work with me or they love to come to work because they get to work with me. That's a really gratifying feeling because I'm just one person and I'm nobody special. I mean, everybody's special, but I'm truly special. And you all know it too.
An only answer that Bryan McWherter
Did that answer the question?
That did. And only a type of answer that Bryan McWherter could give.
Of course. I had to throw Max and Kathy in there though because I forgot to mention them earlier when I was talking about all of the people that were really influential to my upbringing in the dance community. Because if it weren't for them, the second dance that I choreographed, which was called Santa Claus Boogie, it would have never been published. However, it was actually featured in the December 1996 Line Dancer magazine. So
nice.
Yeah.
Back when they actually had a print magazine.
It was pretty a dope thing for what? Somebody who was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I enjoyed it.
I'm sure you did. Back when they still printed the magazine. I remember they just stopped that a couple of years ago. Where they actually stopped doing the printing.
Unfortunately, it's the way that everything's moving these days. Everything's just, digital print.
That it is. And you really can't complain. You work for an amazing amazing technology company, Apple. So you really can't.
Wait, I work for Apple?
If anybody didn't know that.
Yeah. What rock have you been living under?
Right.
No, but it's been awesome though.
You're about the only person I know that when you show up to an dance event, you don't mind going back to work in order to pick up stuff for people who want to buy it, which is awesome.
Yeah. Those few years before what? It was probably 3 or 4 years ago, before I started teaching again at Big Bang. I would do that oftentimes. I would just go to the event, find out that there were people there that actually wanted Apple stuff, and then I would just get their information and go buy it and bring it to them. Yeah. Like it was fun.
I remember I liked it. Like one of the last Tampas. One of the last Tampa Bay Line Dance Classic. All of a sudden you come back because you were going just to pick me up a mouse, and you come back with like 10 Apple Watches, like a huge bag, like a bag with like different like. What are you like giving away Apple Watches to like everybody in attendance?
Yeah, it was funny. I'll never forget. There was also a Tampa Bay I went to that I forgot my computer charger at home. I remember, so I had to go to immediately. Like I get to the airport, great. Get to the hotel, great. Go to unpack everything and realize I left my charger at home. So I had to go directly to the Apple store and buy a charger. It was so funny. Totally me too.
That is totally
the people that know me. Yeah, that's totally me.
He didn't forget the wine, but he forgot the Apple charger.
That's right.
I can always tell when Bryan runs out of wine because his backpack always just appears under my table. And it's like I know whose backpack it is because only person I know whose backpack that actually looks good enough to hold a computer that won't break it, but it also has a bottle of wine in it as well. So that's how I can always tell when it's Bryan.
Or 2, maybe 3,
Yeah.
plus a bottle opener.
Yes. So I can always
Don't tell
tell
all
whose
my
backpack
secrets,
is...
Kelly. Don't tell all my secrets. You're gonna have
Bryan,
to have security
I hate
at
to break
your
it to
table
you.
from now on.
Anybody who truly knows you knows that's not a secret.
This is true. This is true.
Jane just typed in on YouTube, says she loved your dance, Just My Imagination.
Oh, Imagine. Yeah, that's also another classic that you didn't mention earlier. Thank you, Jane. I love that dance too. It was, I'll never forget the first time I taught that dance, and after watching the entire room doing it and finished doing the dance, I remember looking at them and saying, wow, when I was choreographing this in my living room, when just my underwear, I never expected it to look this good on the dance floor. And if you know that dance, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I love that dance. And then that's something else, like that's another one of those songs that I feel like the dance just clicks with the music. That Mandolin Dreams.
One of my favorite memories of you was actually at Marathon. And it was one of the first years when Louis got away with putting up his roped off area. Back when that started, when we'd have the couch and the refrigerator, and you took, you know where I'm going with this.
You about to start talking about chains?
Yes, I am. Well, all of a sudden, the floor ends up being empty. Everyone, like, mind you, swing your chains, classic dance, always a floor filler. We turn around and no one's dancing except for middle of the floor, Bryan. And he took the ropes and wrapped them around and locked his body pretty much in them.
Which the ropes were chains.
Right, yeah.
They were like chain rope.
They were like the chain rope, right. And you had them wrapped around you, hooked, and you were out there, arms by your side, tied up, dancing in chains.
Yep. Yep. If anybody wanted to know about any of my kinks, there you go. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Not one of them.
But yeah, that was one of the memories I remember of you. All of a sudden, turning around, and I'm like, why is the floor empty? And everyone just standing around watching you. There's a couple people dancing, but most everyone circled around watching you dance all chained up. It was like...
Did you miss the one from a couple of years ago? Is Jen Cameron still on this?
I don't know. She hasn't commented in a while, so she might have not been.
So there is a video of Jen Cameron wrapping me up in saran wrap.
I think I've seen this. I think I was
a couple of years ago. I think it was, honestly, I think that might have been the first time that I had met Jody Harmon, and it was at the Marathon. And I think I'm surprised that she even talked to me after that, because I thought for sure she thought I was some sort of like crazy person, because I danced the entirety of Yes You Won't in saran wrap from the top of my knees all the way to my shoulders. And for those of you that know how animated I can get with Yes You Won't, I tried to animate as much as possible. If we can dig up that video, we'll post that online too. It's pretty funny.
Karen just said her first memory of you was you dancing wrapped in saran wrap and dancing Yes You Won't in Raleigh. She has a video. Karen has a video.
Said, oh, there you go, Karen. You could put it on. You could put it on the thread there. And it's so funny because she was probably thinking, "Oh man, and this guy lives in Charlotte because she lives in Waxhaw."
Oh, that cracks me up. Yeah, we've had some good times back in the day. We've had some crazy times. Crazy times.
We have to make fun wherever we go, because otherwise people are just going to have fun without us.
And that's no fun at all.
And that's no fun. Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
No. But huge shout out for you coming on today. Getting to have some fun with me, reminiscing on the past. So,
absolutely.
Any news on any chance of you breaking in and releasing some new choreography this year? 2021's here. Are we going to see Bryan
So
McWherter possibly making a comeback?
you might see a little bit more from me. I've got some things in the works. Actually, I do have a favor to ask of all of the people that have been dancing for a while. If any of you do have any of the old CDs or DVDs that Mas and Kas used to hand out at dance events, I'd like to speak with you about them because I'm trying to compile as many of those as possible. I'm trying to create like a Facebook memorial of like all of these pictures that Kaz would take at all of the events. So I little side project I've been working on. I've been kind of lazy about it recently, so that'll hopefully kick me in the butt. But as far as choreography is concerned, I'm always looking or listening for music. It can't be too common, I feel like. I need to do something a little bit outside the box.
JP says you have a great new song. He says he keeps telling you need to jump on it, that the song is hot.
JP, you're going to have to text me because I don't know which song you're talking about. I have a lot of good songs. Okay.
Rob Glover says wine in a Starbucks cup was a pro move, BM, by the way.
I wish. It's just water. It's just water.
And talking about a blast from the past, Cody Stevens just jumped in the chat, guys. Talking about a blast from the past in the day.
Hey, Cody.
Karen just shared a YouTube link. I'm pretty sure that's going to be watching Mr. McWherter dancing Saran Wrap, if I'm not mistaken. Brian Jost Kinzer says she has some of those CDs from Maz and Kaz, so get in touch with her.
Absolutely.
But huge thank you for coming on. It was a blast getting to reminisce with you, bro. I always have fun when I get to see you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. And I'm sorry it took me a long time to get on here, but you know what? I'm kind of glad that we did. 2020 was a heck of a year, and I'm ready for this to be a better one. So we're leading it well out of the gate.
Another show tomorrow, guys, at 5 o'clock. I got 10 more counting down. I got a couple great guests lined up coming up over the next 10 days. And, of course, how can we forget my 100th episode? Let me pop it up here. We're going to be – where is it? I think I accidentally hit the wrong button. But you all know it. I've already posted it up. Guyton Monday. I'm going to the Guyton compound. 2-hour 100th episode on my birthday, January 15th. That's next Friday. That's going to be – you never know what the heck's going to happen there. That's going to be 2 hours at the Guyton compound with G on a Friday, celebrating my birthday. That's just going to be – so I told Cody before we talked, I need to get him on. Absolutely. Cody needs to be a guest. Talk about, we can definitely go old school with that one.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about floor filler.
He just brought that up, floor filler. That was I remember when that came out. Yeah.
So if there's anybody that's been watching this or watching the stream and you know the dance floor filler, and if you've never met Cody is the co-choreographer of that as well with me. So
absolutely.
But that's awesome.
But absolutely.
Well,
so guys, hope you enjoyed the show, reminiscing about old times with Mr. McWherter here. Guys, tomorrow 5 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. Counting down, guys. We're almost to 100. Till tomorrow. See ya.
Peace.